Some of the rhetoric that I've heard, it infuriates me. Because I think it's ignorance, and when you speak ignorance, I think you only encourage more ignorance. And so as a result, when people have referred to Latinos as rapists and drug dealers, I think that paints a broad brush on a group of people that's just not the way that it is. The allegations or the accusations that these people are drains on the community fails to take into account all the work that they do. And I believe that the wheels would grind to a halt if those people weren't here, because I think, for better or for worse, those are the people for the most part who put roofs on our houses, mow our lawns, and construct our buildings. And so as a result, I think that there's a net contribution by immigrants, including undocumented immigrants, in those areas. In addition to that, I know that they contribute to sales taxes. I know that they contribute to property taxes. And one of the interesting things is lots of people say that they don't pay income taxes, but for the most part, I've had lots of clients who have obtained individual tax ID numbers and have paid their taxes for more than 10 years. I do come from a Latino background. My grandfather was from San Luis Potosí, Mexico, and so his mother came to the United States in a covered wagon when my great-grandfather was working on the railroads here in Oklahoma. My family came. I grew up going to Little Flower Catholic Church, which was predominantly Latino. Growing up, I was the only blonde-haired, blue-eyed kid in catechism classes, and it was one of those things that I always grew up with an affinity for the Latino culture, because it's my culture in my heart. And so even though maybe you couldn't tell by looking on the surface, this is something that I've always been committed to. My guide has always been my mom. And so my mom was a Spanish professor at Oklahoma City Community College for a long time. She ran one of the citizenship schools that was part of the Amnesty President Reagan's Amnesty program in 1987. She started a clinic that reached out to Latinos at Little Flower Catholic Church. And so as a result, she's the one who really instilled this commitment to the community in me. And so as a result, and she's also the one who taught me Spanish. And so as a result, she has been the one who's really served as a mentor and kind of an inspiration for the things that I've done in my professional career. I think part of the attractiveness of the Latino community is that there's a pulse, there's a vibrancy to it. I think one of the things that's refreshing is when you work with immigrants, that people come here because they're looking for a better life, and most typically they're committed to working hard to being able to do that. I think there are misconceptions about the Latino community or any other community for that reason, because I think there's a tendency to fear that other, that person that you don't understand or that you're not familiar with, or that community that you don't know. And so as a result, that's part of the reason that I think it's so important that people different communities can engage with each other, because then you begin to learn that other community has for the most part, all the same hopes and dreams that you have. They just may say it in a different language and may look a little different. The thing that upsets me the most about the system when it comes to immigration is that the process is broken. That at this point that there's not a clear path for most people to be able to fix their status. And so as a result, every day I have people come to my office who are desperate and almost willing to spend any amount of money to be able to regularize their status, so that they're not constantly looking over their shoulders and they can continue to raise their family here. Unfortunately, Congress has given us a law that doesn't afford hardly any of those people an opportunity to go forward. I think one of the most striking events that I was ever familiar with was probably about, oh, I'd say 12, 13 years ago, that out of the 7 Oklahoma City area high schools, there were 5 Latino valedictorians. Now, those 5 Latino valedictorians, 4 of them were undocumented. And at the time, there wasn't a path for those kids to be able to go forward and receive any additional education or be able to go to work. The immigrant population is important because this has been truly the lifeblood that has made the United States the country that it is, the dominant country that it is, in that those immigrants come to the United States with a hunger and a willingness to start at the bottom that perhaps people who are born in the United States take for granted. And so whenever you consider that an immigrant is 3 times more likely to be an entrepreneur and start his own business as opposed to someone in the United States, this is the lifeblood and the vibrancy that has kept the United States on its ascendancy for all these years.